Arg! Ahoy there, matey! Welcome aboard the world of boating.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I was just looking into buying a boat of my own.
Call World of Boating toll-free now at 1-8888-28-BOAT. That's 1-888-828-BOAT.
And welcome. This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Captain Patrick is not here with us today. I know you're saying, "Oh my gosh, what the heck happened?" No, it's just
Patrick.
I know he'll be back. He will. He's
Patrick?
just he's just taking a break. So we're without a captain, but we do have Barry the boater, Mike the mariner rounding out the crew, and Barry's all excited. He's waving his hands, as you can see it on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Why? Why, Barry? Why?
Because I think what he's doing is decompressing over last week's boat show.
That may be what it is. I mean,
he had to haul everything back.
He needed a break.
Truck.
He needed a break. That is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He's
we were
not
talking.
getting any- yeah.
We were talking about the Discover Boating International or Miami International Boat Show, and the numbers have come out. They've said that they've had well over 100,000 visitors, and that sales reports were very, very strong from all the exhibitors and manufacturers and all that kind of stuff. So, what the specific numbers were on sales, I mean, they kind of hold that close to the vest. But evidently, over the, 5-day event, they had over 100,000 people show up at the Miami International Boat Show. That is good.
That's awesome.
That means
Yes.
demand is strong. Hopefully that translates into more business and better options for you as the average boater, because if business is good, that means, more manufacturers are going to put out more stuff for you to purchase. Would you agree with that statement there, Mike the Mariner? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think the market is probably a little different than it was during the pandemic and the irrational exuberance maybe, but
Right.
I think it's still steady. People are still interested. Boats are still moving, just not quite at the same pace.
Yes, it slowed down a little bit, but still demand is strong and business is being done. So hopefully we can keep that momentum. And like I said, ultimately, that means more choices for you, the end user, the end boat purchaser, or just boater, boat enthusiast. So I think it's good. Now, a little bit later on, we're going to have a special guest, YouTuber, who I guess is relatively, I don't know, relative. Yeah, I think he's been doing it a while, but he has a YouTube channel about boat restoration. He's retired. He decided, in his retirement days, he wanted to just do what a lot of people want to do, just get an old boat, fix her up, and then, maybe get her out on the water at some point. Who knows? But he's going to join us a little bit later on, and we're going to follow his progress or mistakes that he documents on YouTube. He's quite a guy. Joe is going to join us from Motor City Boat Works a little bit later on. But Mike the Mariner has been keeping pretty busy. And, we were talking about this a while ago with this. I want to get an update on this prop thing you mentioned a couple of weeks ago, which I forget what it was called, but it basically it's not really a super new design, but they're saying this design a prop which kind of has holes in it, or it's like using weird blender technology, like you're trying to froth your coffee kind of thing.
Yeah.
It has some kind of weird technology that looks like one of those blender things, and they're talking about this could be quite an upgrade for props in the future. Like I saw after you talked about it, I looked it up, saw a couple YouTube videos, and they are saying that this prop could have a efficiency increase of 20 to 30%, depending on what type of boat and activity you're using.
And it's quieter too.
Quieter, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, they actually showed YouTube videos of it running.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's for motors that are, I think, 150 horsepower and up. And I call it the 2-kidney prop because if you have two engines, you're going to need 2 kidneys to pay for it.
Really? Okay. Well,
Right. Yeah.
Maybe.
They are very pricey at this stage.
yeah.
But if you think about it, the gain in efficiency over the course, because you get much more speed out of the same RPM, which translates into fuel savings and efficiency,
Right.
is
And quieter
gonna
too,
offset that.
like Barry said. I mean, that was actually that was one of the examples I saw on YouTube. They compared the noise level, and it was substantially lower. And I mean, hey, if you're cruising and it's quieter, I think it's a big win. I like less noise when I'm cruising around on a boat. You think? Would you,
Yeah.
Mike?
Well,
Or what?
Yeah, when you think about innovation, prop design hasn't changed all that much for the various applications over the years.
Yeah.
You've got aluminum props for, smaller boats, and they've all been shaped about the same way. And then you have, the speed props with the 3-blade or 2-blade, real sharp blades. And then boats like mine, with Nibral props and, for slower turning vessels. The designs have all been very similar.
Mm-hmm.
This to me is a big change and has big potential. I'm looking for some data, and I have not been able to find it on any test they might have done on a vessel that weighs about what mine does, which is about 34,000 pounds. I'd love to see what that looks like.
Sure. Yeah.
Well,
the technology's been around for a while, but and it's actually I read some stuff that had been tried a long time ago, but they failed because they couldn't really, come out with the proper manufacturing to make it efficient enough to create these props. But with technology the way it's going, or I don't know if 3D printing is involved, or new materials, or manufacturing ways. There's a couple companies that are looking into this and trying to, figure that out and see if they can bring that to market. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you combine that with like an electric motor vessel. I mean, wow, less noise on the prop, less noise with because you're using electric. I mean, that could be a win-win. I mean, because it's less noise for the marine life too, underwater. Supposedly.
Well, it'll be more efficient then too, if it can work well with an electric motor.
Well, I had read something about it that if they put these on big commercial shipping container type vessels, they make a huge difference in sound, which they say, is a problem potentially with whales and things like that, and stuff, creating problems for dolphins and their echolocation and all that. I mean, who knows what the truth is there, but hey, that is one of the noise pollution issues that you hear spouted off about quite a bit from the environmental world when it comes to marine life and stuff.
Greg, hear it because we both dive.
Yes,
and you can tell when a boat's coming by. There's a high-speed whine you hear.
That is true.
Miss it.
Right. And that's good that we hear it when we're diving. The problem is underwater, you lose your sense of direction of sound. You can hear stuff really, really far away from a boat or whatever it is, but you lose your directional control when you're scuba diving, and you can't tell where that is coming from. So if you hear a boat motor whine, like Barry's talking about, you go down deeper. Don't go up to that point.
Quiet. Yeah. In that particular instance, quiet is not better.
Correct. That's that is one of the downsides. But hey, we're just people. We want to look out for the whales. We don't want to mess them up and stuff too. So, I mean,
because you can kind of judge distance by the pitch, right?
And it's not like you're going to get rid of the sound, and it travels so far underwater. I would imagine it won't affect divers. You're still going to be able to hear a boat whine or engine, and it might be a little bit lighter, but once again, sound travels very, very far in water compared to in air. So I don't think it'll affect us in that sense.
Mike, the way you're safe when you're diving is you send your buddy up first to check.
Barry?
You go up and pull the
Barry, go take a look at it. Go check out that sound.
Go check out that sound. And if he disappears, stay down.
If he doesn't float back down, then you follow him up.
Right. Well, make sure he's moving. And he still has his head attached to his body and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's what dive buddies are for. So yeah, Barry would be he'd be the designated lookout if we get into those.
No.
Oh yes, come on, don't lie.
No,
I got to pull rank.
No bosses underwater.
Yeah, hey, I'm a dive master. Oh, actually, I'm a dive instructor, Barry. You're just open water advanced, right?
I'm a master scuba diver.
Oh well, I'm still above you. I'm an instructor, so you suck it. That's what I say, and you're going to do what I say. I'm pulling rank. All right, Joe from Motor City Boat Works next on the World of Boating. Stay close.
listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Hosting a radio show about scuba diving and boating is one of the best gigs on the planet. It's actually part of my job to check out and report on cool new products I personally use to enhance my diving and boating adventures. However, I do believe in sharing the joy, and this is why we've added Nanook protective hard cases to our list of products you can now purchase on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Nanook cases are designed to protect the most sensitive equipment in the harshest environments. Underwater photographers, listen up. From their high-impact NK7 resin to their exclusive Power Claw latches, Nanook has raised the bar for those of you that demand the best protection for your gear. Plus, Nanook protective cases cost less than similar products currently on the market. The company has been around for over 15 years, but it's new to the U.S., so we've made a small number of Nanook cases available exclusively for you at a special introductory price on the merchandise page at scubaradio.com. Go there now and check out Nanook, the evolution of protection.
Be an explorer in the other two-thirds of your world. Be the buddy who takes the kids in the aquarium instead of just to it. Be adventurous. Be amazed. Be a diver.
Even Keatley wasn't ready for me, or anything that followed. Chased by a police department, led by his ex-girlfriend, and hunted by brain fork-wielding Fijian assassins, it's everything he can do to keep from getting locked up, killed, or worse. Kava Screw is available as an ebook for $2.99 at Amazon.com. Kava Screw. Put a brain fork in him. He's done.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm strong to the finish because I eat me spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, rounding out the crew. And we now have a special guest all the way from YouTube. Joe from Motor City Boat Works is with us, helping us out today. Or I don't know, maybe we're helping him out. I have no idea, but we're glad to have him. Welcome aboard there, Joe. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, thanks so much. This is Joe from Motor City Boat Works. I really appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Absolutely. Now, you can see him on YouTube, on his YouTube channel. You can actually see him on the live stream for World of Boating today at on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. And he's standing in front of, or sitting down in front of, his big red boat. What do you got there, Joe? What is that?
So I'm inside Motor City Boat Works. It's my boat shop here. I call it The Works, W-E-R-K-S. And behind me is a 1986 Albin 27 family cruiser. This boat, for your listeners, it looks like maybe a down east style cruising boat, or perhaps a very small lobster, Maine lobster fisherman type of boat.
Nice.
It has double cabin, center cockpit. It has the galley, of course, a V berth. It's got a head. The aft cabin has a berthing area that's actually two berths that can be converted into something that's approximately full or queen size berth. It runs off a single diesel engine, usually about 50 horsepower, maybe up to 100, depending on when they were produced.
Right.
It's all fiberglass.
Okay.
It's all fiberglass. And what I've done is I've stripped this thing down. I've been working on it now for about 8 years. I stripped this thing down. It's a bare hull. What you see behind me is completely bare. There's nothing on the inside. I pulled out all of the interior, the wood, the metal, the upholstery, electrical systems, plumbing systems, all empty. And I'm rebuilding it back now, putting it back, making it better than it was before.
Nice. And he's documenting this on his YouTube channel, Motor City Boat Works. Just look it up. Works, W-E-R-K-S. Want to make sure you get that out there. But you started doing this when, Joe? I mean, this has been like a retirement project for you, right?
Well, this right now is my retirement project, but I started restoring boats probably 30, 40 years ago, back when I was a young officer in the Marine Corps. And it was something I kind of did on the side. I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I had a classic sailboat called an Allberg 30, very beautiful, classic plastic sailboat, fiberglass sailboat, like Jimmy Buffett always talks about. And
Right.
I lived on that boat for a number of years and took it back and forth with me across country into the Caribbean. And I wrote a book about it, but that's beside the point. And I've always been kind of messing around with boats. I started in the Marine Corps. I ended up working for the government for about 30 years. I worked for one of the 3-letter agencies. It was difficult work, dangerous work, toxic work.
Right.
And I needed a
escape,
like a hobby, an escape.
Yeah.
And boating was always that. So I was always, no matter where I was assigned or where I was stationed, I always had a boat of some sort that I was screwing around with. Usually older, kind of classic sailboats, big ones, small ones, trailerable or not, and kind of working on them, making them better than they were, and then using them on the weekends for adventures and stuff like that. I always wanted to have a boat shop. I always wanted to own a marina, but a marina costs $1.5 million to get a junky one, and
Right.
I just couldn't afford it. And so it was like a fantasy: quit my day job and go, be a boat rat and work in a marina or something like that. And but I couldn't do it. And last February 2022, I retired after 30 years of service. And so much of my identity was wrapped up in my day job career that I had all my adult life. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I started thinking about it, and I said, I always wanted to own a boat shop. I'm going to go ahead and build myself a boat shop.
Right.
And I'm going to build a boat shop, and I'm going to restore this boat that I've been working on for a number of years. It was always sitting outside, having leaves fall on it and stuff. I said, I'm going to build a proper boat shop that rivals all other boat shops.
It is
and its
impressive.
awesomeness, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And,
basically just built this, this,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not a shed. It's like one of the big steel warehouse type things. So you
Yeah.
obviously had the property and built it up and just built your dream work
built my own shop
workspace.
for me, and I didn't want the hassle of having customers or having to do business or anything like that. I said, I'm gonna have only one customer, me. And I'll work as hard as I want to work on my boat and do it the way I want it. And I'm just going to live the dream. Like there are hobby farmers. They have hobby farms. They're not really into making money with their farm. They're just going to do it because they love agriculture.
Yeah.
I'm like a hobby boat shop guy, hobby marina guy. I just like working on boats, on my boat in particular. And that's the whole idea. That's the gag behind Motor City Boat Works.
Well, I don't know if it's a
not
gag.
a real boat shop, but it's
I think
fun.
you are indeed living the dream. That's definitely on a lot
I'm
of
living
boaters'
my dream. That's
list.
maybe not a good thing. I don't
Well,
know.
the other dream is to, buy a boat, sail around the world, and sail off into the sunset. But you got to have the boat first, so you might as well fix it. And if you enjoy doing that kind of stuff, I mean, why not? And you can follow his progress on YouTube every day, or I don't know how often. You're doing a lot of videos.
I post once a week.
Once a
usually
week,
on
okay.
Fridays.
The
But
last one I saw, you got stuck inside there or something.
Yes, I was working in the aft
So it's
cabin.
quite entertaining
this
to watch.
This happens quite frequently.
Yeah.
I mean, due to I'm not a small guy anymore.
Yeah.
And I sometimes worry. I sometimes worry that I'm down here working in the works.
Right.
But by the way, I have a surveillance camera set up that goes back to the house so the wife can check in on me and talk to me.
Yeah.
Because
Make
when I
sure-
first built this thing, I thought, there's going to come a time when I'm going to drop something on my head or knock myself out or get stuck or hurt, and I'm going to need to call for some help. And someone's got to be able to see that I'm down here.
Right.
And so I frequently worry about working on the boat. I get stuck up inside there. She's going to find me at the end of the day like a mouse that died on your refrigerator. Or something.
Oh, exactly.
But,
yeah, Barry, what do you think? What do you think about that?
You should tie a line to your legs before you go in there, and then leave
There
a
you
note
go.
to pull you back out if
so
something
somebody
happens.
can find me.
I don't know.
that's right.
Live stream might be the way to
Yeah.
go on YouTube. I know you're doing the filming the
Come
videos.
along chain. So
Yeah.
So I do the
Yeah,
episodes.
that's right.
Yeah, you do the episodes once
I
a
do the
week.
episodes on Fridays.
On Fridays. Friday, okay.
And then they're usually 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
They're very information heavy. I try to cover projects that are not being covered or have not been covered so well or detailed or kind of different perspective in those 20-minute segments. I call those episodes. And then for subscribers, I ask them to subscribe and hit the notification button because I do live streams from the shop, and you can actually, watch me in the shop live working.
Right.
And,
you might save his life if he gets stuck down there in the bilge or something. Yeah.
And it's a really great opportunity for people to ask questions because there's a chat feature in YouTube. They can touch the question and I can explain what I'm doing in a little more detail because I try to keep the episodes very concise.
Yeah.
20 minutes or less during the week, just little nuggets of information, kind of telling a story. But, a lot of these projects are quite involved, and the thought process and the choice of materials and the why you do things and why you don't do these other things or why I'm doing certain things, because some of my ideas are a little unconventional.
Yeah.
I will admit that.
Well, hey, you fit in well with our crew, so hang over. Let's do another segment with Joe from Motor City Boat Works. This is interesting stuff. You can check him out on YouTube. But he's on The World of Boating today. We got more coming up. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network.
Traffic sucks, unless you're scuba diving with Mike Scott.
Mike glanced down at his dive computer. It showed less than 50 PSI left in his tank. Probably just a few more breaths.
Or riding shotgun in a thrilling car chase.
One bullet hit the Jeep's windshield, spiderwebbing the passenger side. Mike shifted into second gear and felt the Jeep leap forward. This just got serious.
Escape your commute with audiobooks from author Eric Douglas. Download to your phone. Go to booksbyeric.com or audible.com.
Do you have a message or product you need to share with the boating world? Well, look no further than the World of Boating radio show. Just like you, thousands of boating enthusiasts are hearing this message, and we could be talking about you and your product or service as early as next Saturday. Remember, a terrible thing happens when you don't advertise. Nothing. Go to worldofboating.com, send us an email, and let's get to work to make your marketing message matter.
Successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Oh, look at this. So much fun, you'll ship your pants.
You'll ship your pants, bro! We'll be singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. Singing and dancing. When that great, great ship comes in.
This is the World of Boating. Greg, your first mate. Barry the boater, Mike the mariner, and our special guest, Joe from Motor City Boat Works. He's on YouTube. You can follow his progress on this Albin 27 family cruiser. And you can follow his progress or his mistakes. I don't know. It's been a combination, I would imagine, as this has went on time, as you've been documenting this on YouTube. Some things go perfect, and some things you hit a little bump in the restoration project and then have to fix that mistake, or what?
For sure. There are days where it feels like I take one step forward and then like two steps back.
Right.
And in particular, because I didn't always have the works where I work on the boat now, right? This enclosed workshop.
Right.
I was doing it in my backyard. I built a little boat yard with some gravel, railroad ties. I was doing it under trees and stuff like that. And about 6 years ago, when I was working on this boat outside, a lot of my work was rushed. Some stuff is temperature sensitive. It didn't come out very well.
Yeah.
And so now that I've got it inside, I got beautiful lighting. Everything's kind of climate controlled. It feels fantastic. I'm really much more critical of going back, looking at stuff, and it's like, man, I need to really redo that. I need to do this. There are days you start a project, you say, this is a 2-hour project. No problem. I'm gonna put in an electrical panel. I'm gonna do this and that, and then you get in there and it becomes
While you're
3
in there,
days,
I
4
better do
days.
this. I better change this. I
may
better
as well
change
do this
that.
now.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the interesting thing is that I did not think it would be this difficult putting a boat back together. It's still a bare hull behind me,
Right.
and the issue is I don't really know because I was never a professional boat builder guy or never worked in a real marina. I don't know what goes in what order. What are the steps you take? And
Right.
so there's a lot of that's been kind of feeling my way around,
A
kind
lot of trial and error. Yeah.
logically thinking, okay, I think I want to put this in before I put that in because it's going to be so difficult to get access to spaces.
Sure. Mike, the Mariner, what do you think about
Yeah.
this stuff?
Well, I think you have a wonderful opportunity to make some serviceability improvements to boat design, right?
Yeah.
Well, that
Most
this
of
has
these
to be
boats, if it's
Yeah.
anything like mine, you try to find a plumbing fitting or a wiring harness or something like that. Sometimes you actually have to cut a panel out to get to a space like that. But you mentioned you'd been working on that boat for a while, and of course, everybody just wants to have the boat in the water running. What's your timeline to get that boat complete, and then how are you going to use that? And then to follow that, what are you going to do next?
Yeah,
Sure.
good point.
So I'm retired now. I retired last year, so this is all I do all day long. I actually have a punch clock where I punch in.
Really?
I work in my own workshop. I bought a punch clock.
The
It makes me
missus
feel
probably she
it
wants
makes
to
me
What's your
make
feel-
billing rate?
Yeah.
yeah, it makes me feel like someone's looking over my shoulder. Am I really putting in the hours? And so this boat, I started the YouTube channel to put the first video out 6 months ago. This is the sixth today is the 6-month anniversary of my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And
Happy anniversary.
So
Yeah.
thank you. And so the plan was to get the boat done in the next 24 to 36 months, but I've already wasted 6 months so far. So I think things are going to speed up once I get past the dirty work, the sanding and the grinding and the fabricating things, and it'll just become a matter of like putting in systems. I believe that stuff will probably go a little faster than some of the fiberglass and painting work because that has built-in drying times and
Right.
curing times and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I think you can also work on it maybe in a lot more shorter increments, but oftentimes throughout the day. Whereas now, if I come down and grind or paint on the boat, man, I'm shot at the end of the day. I just can't do anymore after a couple hours.
Right.
But I think you can lay wire and you can hook things up. 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour over here, and just keep plugging away at it.
Sure.
So 24, 36 months to get the boat done. And then the plan is my wife and I are going to go cruising. Of course, we're going to do the loop. We're going to use this for the Great Loop.
Okay.
And I'm designing it for the purpose of being able to what I call long-term cruising. Now, it's not the same as sailboat long-term cruising or real extreme long-term cruising like you get in a big trawler, but we should be able to stay out a number of days at a time. The real limitation with this boat is probably going to be the holding tank, and because you can only have so much capacity, right?
Right.
And holding tank and probably freshwater capacity, but you could have a freshwater maker put in here, but you still got a holding tank problem in the United States.
Now Barry just started laughing, and I assume it's because you're bringing up
No,
poo.
my holding tank is the ocean.
Oh, jeez.
And because I'm on the Great Lakes here, well, we really got to be particular about how things are done. And so we'll do the Great Loop. I really want to take the boat to the Pacific Northwest. It's a bucket list item of mine. And then I really also want to take the boat down to the Sea of Cortez. And
Wow. So you
I'd
have
like to
no
do that.
goals at all, Joe. Is what I would
And
assume.
I got an even better one. You're gonna love this.
Oh, yeah.
Because this boat is trailerable and it weighs when it's finished, it should weigh somewhere around, I don't know, I'm guessing 8,000 pounds. And it goes on a triple axle trailer, which I have outside. Right?
Okay.
And it can be towed, with a 3/4 ton truck or whatever.
Right.
What I would like to do is I have considered and I'm investigating how to ship this thing overseas because I believe this boat would be the ideal boat to do French canals around around the Netherlands, European inland rivers and coastal stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome. And you could, because the boat can be put on a trailer, it can be roll on, roll off. They have those RO
Right.
roll on, roll off. ROR, whatever.
right.
Those ROR shipping. It's actually,
Right in the sweet spot of the
impossibly
size
expensive.
in that
It's not
regard.
impossibly
Yeah.
expensive. It can be done.
Mhm.
So I just got to look at the numbers and see whether this thing is worth it. Of course, there's a lot of other considerations. You got to have 220. You're going over to Europe. There's some other things like that. But now is the time to kind of make those choices with the boat. And there are a lot of marine things that are kind of dual voltage purpose.
Right.
And, they're done for both Europe and for United States.
Yeah.
So if you choose the right equipment at this stage, this might not be an issue.
You can
down
make
the
it
road. I
happen.
don't
Mike
know.
the Mariner,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
think about that?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that earlier when you were talking about boat systems installation. And one of the things that's, kind of crucial is making sure that the electrical systems are installed in a way, because you have an enclosed engine compartment. So you have an engine room or an engine compartment. There are enclosed spaces. Are you using a design or have someone providing you a design to assure that that those systems are going to be installed?
Yeah, have you been in touch with like
safety in mind?
the original manufacturer? Are you going back to original documents on the vessel? What are you doing in that regard, Joe?
Yeah. So Albin Marine Boats, I believe the brand has been rebought by some other boat company now, but they're not really made anymore. It's my understanding. And in particular, these boats aren't made anymore. There are about 500-600 of these boats made. There are about 2,000 of the Swedish Albin 25, the smaller version of this thing. Made. Those came from Sweden. The documentation that existed for these things are rare as ancient artifacts. They don't exist. And one of the things I've tried to do is start documenting, and this is one of the purposes of the YouTube channel, is to just start trying to kind of document and kind of get really good information about what exactly is there and things like that. So there are no schematics. I will come up with the electrical plan myself. We'll talk about that on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We'll talk about an budget. How do you budget for the electrical requirements that you're going to have? How do you make the choices? Right now, I'm behind the scenes research-wise. I'm wrestling between, do I go with traditional batteries? Do I go with the new lithium batteries? And if I do go with the lithium batteries, what does that mean for some of the equipment that I already have for the boat?
Yeah, you don't want things going wrong. And we're going to talk about some of those mistakes that maybe you can learn from watching Joe at Motor City Boat Works next on The World of Boating. Stay close.
You're listening to the World of Boating Radio Network. You have successfully navigated the Sea of Commerce and now are clear to cruise with the World of Boating.
I do like the water.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
The sun, the sea air, good friends.
Brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
You can't have 5 people or 10 people in a boat.
So if it is a family of 4 or 5, like husband, wife, and kids, they're going to have to pick 2 of them at a time.
They
to go
would,
on the
yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Greaseball, where did you get the right to tell me how many people can come on my boat? Nobody asked that question. Whoa, really? It's on the boat or on the dock? Nobody said anything.
Sweetly sailing, darling, sweetly sailing by the sea, silver caps the ocean, we'll be sailing through.
This is the World of Boating. Gregor First Mate, Barry the Boater, Mike the Mariner, and Joe from Motor City Boat Works with us. He's on YouTube. Look him up. Follow his progress. Learn from his progress and his mistakes. As he restores this 27-foot Albin cruiser, family cruiser. It looks pretty impressive. And, we're talking about, what goes into the process of, what you want to do with it. Ultimately, do the Great Loop. Maybe you've taken overseas, cruise with your wife and that kind of thing. I mean, that's what every boater wants to do. That's like living the dream, and you're kind of building it from the ground up. I mean, obviously, this is an older boat, Joe. So you've probably come across a few situations already where you started the project and you already said that it ended up taking much longer than you thought it would initially when you started. But have you had any situations? And I would imagine you've documented some of them on YouTube, but you got into something like, oh, crap, I got to start all over again. I messed this up, or you thinking so far in ahead. You're one of those really detailed kind of guys. Where would you put yourself in that category, you think?
You know, I try. I was just talking about in an episode I have coming up where I talk about the 10-foot rule. Have you guys heard this? Right?
The 10-foot rule?
This, right?
Never
10-foot,
come within 10 feet of Barry the Boater?
Yeah. 10-foot rule. The 10-foot rule is the amateur boat restorers kind of mantra. You look at your boat, and from the dock, if it's 10 feet away and it looks pretty good, all right, you're doing okay.
Okay, all right.
And that's the standard that you're trying to achieve. Now, when you go down below, that reduces to about 3 feet, right?
Got it.
But I try to do a little bit better than a 10-foot rule. I'm not a perfectionist.
All
My
right.
boat there are certain things I've chosen for my boat, the paint, the non-skid,
Yeah.
the way things are going to be put together that are more workmanly than perhaps you would find on a brand new boat, or the way a recreational boats or trawlers are sold. Because I just think, look, if you travel long term and you live on a boat long term, which I have, things get tore up. They get wore out. You could take the most beautiful boat you want, but if you're living on it for a year or traveling for a year on it, it's going to get trashed no matter what. So you may as well make something that's easy to maintain, very
Right.
quick to kind of fix things.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and if you're building it or restoring it like you are, you're going from the ground up. I mean, you're going to know every nook and cranny of this vessel, and that
Exactly.
would only play to your advantage, I would think. Barry the Boater, what do you think about that?
Well, I think one of the questions I have is contractors will generally set up a schedule of how they build their building, and a lot of manufacturers will do the same thing. So everything gets done in a certain order. Did you ever set up anything like that, like a big chart as to doing it piece by piece?
There
so
it
that
is.
you don't forget something. There you go.
He has a massive
you
dry
can't-
erase board.
Yeah, you may not be able to see it. This is like a 4x8, 6x8 dry erase board where I have a list of all of the items. And in one of my videos, I actually have several reoccurring videos. They're called planning videos. They come out about every 3 to 4 months, where I talk about, okay, this is what I'm working on now, and this is what's coming up, and this is why I got to do this now, where I do the next thing, and kind of noodling
Exactly.
around
Yes.
the process of doing these things. Because
You don't
it's
want- you don't want to
it's
close it.
overwhelming to think about, all the steps I got to take to do this.
Right.
And each item on the board has another 20, 30, 40, 50 steps that have to be done. You don't
Sure.
just say, oh, I'm going to put in an electrical panel. Wow, there's fusing, and there's the proper connectors, and the proper wiring, and the all sorts of things.
And
that
how
have
you're
to
going to
kinda-
branch it out. And
Yeah.
you
How
don't
you're gonna
wanna
branch it.
I'm going to enclose in this bulkhead today, and then you realize, wait, I didn't bring in my
Yeah.
plumbing yet. Oh no!
Exactly.
Yeah. And Joe, I got to
Yeah.
ask, who are your go-to people? Do you do these videos and you talk about this project where it's a fuse box or whatever, like, hey, this is what we're going to do today, and then all of a sudden you get a bunch of comments on your YouTube videos like, hey, dummy, you don't want to do that. I mean, who do you rely on? Who is your go-to, boating manufacturing guru?
Well, when I started in boat restoration 30, 40 years ago, there was not really much internet, much YouTube content. The stuff had not gotten there yet, right? So everything was still in books. It was Nigel Calder. It was Don Casey. It was, back in the day, some of the magazines actually had really good how-to articles about how to do certain things.
Right.
And I actually had a library. My wife was laughing at me the other day. I have about 300 books on restoring boats. She's like, isn't one enough? And I'm like, no,
Right.
you got to have them all.
Well, the
Each
kids are
one has
listening
that
right now. They're going,
of the
books?
proper
What
way
the
to
heck
do
are
it.
those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now a lot of that information has kind of come over into the internet. It's available in a lot of places. There's a lot of resources available for people.
Right.
There's even standards and guidelines that have been put in place about how you're supposed to do things, how you're not. It's talked about all the time. And then of course there's YouTube, which one of the reasons I started the YouTube channel was, I was searching for really good how-to information on how to do kind of amateur boat stuff. And I just felt like there wasn't the type of quality information or even just entertaining information that really spoke to me. So I make videos that I would want to see as a guy who's been restoring boats for 20, 30 years.
Right.
And so I try to cover topics that maybe other people don't talk about. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of effort to turn on a time-lapse camera and grind away on a boat in your bikini and get 100,000 views, right?
No, wait, hold on. Here's the problem.
Get the 100,000 views. You know what
You're not going to get 100,000 views if you're wearing a bikini. I'm just saying.
No, and
you know?
neither is Greg, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
He may get a lot of comments.
But now there are a couple of YouTube channels out there that are amazing. You know, that really, there are some people who are really going to some technical stuff. Andy Miller at Boatworks Today, Mads at Sailing Life. There are, you know, there's a number of channels out there where there are some people doing some fairly ambitious technical problems that you can find. You know, hey, how do I put in a water maker? Matt's put in a water maker. I was like, I've never seen this before.
Right.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's like anything.
Yeah.
The YouTube is very good at that kind of stuff. And then you watch these videos, whether it's about boating or, you know, a water heater at your house or something, you know, and you watch someone go through that process, and then you make the decision like, you know what, I think I could do that. Or, oh, there's no way in hell. I got to pull in an expert.
Exactly.
You know, and you can watch them from that standpoint. But the other element to this, I think, just from a boating enthusiast type of thing, is it's entertaining. I mean, as you can tell, Joe's quite the talker. He fits in well with the World of Boating crew. And, you know, he jokes around a lot. And if you watch his videos of him getting stuck in the bilge or whatever, or actually doing some real boating work, it's kind of fun to watch. It's just entertaining. Yeah. And, you know, if you like boating, I mean, this just may be right, you know, right down your float plan there, where you want to watch this.
And the cool thing is, since he's doing this streaming all the time, we all have a chance to save his life.
Yes, that's true. He's actually soliciting for life alert or something.
An emergency number on the bottom of your video at all times in case something happens. We can start calling in. Hey, go get your husband. Pull him back out by the lines.
Hey, you know, that's happened.
Find some way to incorporate Alexa between us and his shop.
Yeah.
You know, Alexa, start the come along.
You know, that actually has happened on YouTube quite a bit. They've had quite a, you know, some live streams where someone got hurt or got into trouble, and they called the authorities from the YouTubers that were watching it. You know, the viewers.
I told you guys I have a punch clock to punch in my hours to keep track of myself, right? And I also have an injury log. I actually have a log book where I keep track of my injuries because I was really curious.
Wait, aren't you retired now?
Yeah,
I'm retired, but I like counting things. And I have a counter. I have a clicker counter on my.
Are these OSHA recordable?
Right. I'll tell you what. You know, we need one of those counters, more for mental reasons, but that's a whole different thing, different show. We got to wrap it up for this week. Till next time, remember, whether it's sail or motor,
life is better as a motor.
Safe boating, everyone.
Come back here, you barnacle-bitten swab. World of Boating is brought to you by worldofboating.com, your internet portal for the boating enthusiast.
Any of this getting through to you, son?
World of Boating is a production of Overboard Entertainment Incorporated.
Computer standing by.
Remember, you can listen live or to archives of past shows worldwide over the internet at worldofboating.com.
Computers can do that?
So tell a friend and come aboard every week for the World of Boating.
This is so great. I can't wait. I'm getting goosebumps. Feel me. Feel me.
The radio show devoted exclusively to the boating lifestyle.
TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The opinions you just heard on the World of Boating are those of the hosts, callers, and guests. They are not necessarily those of any station or network, its management, or advertisers.
What are you being such a weenie for?
While on the water, your safety and the safety of many others depends on you. So boat smart and operate your vessel only after receiving the proper training and instruction for your area.
There is a fine line between genius and madness.
Have any questions or comments? Feel free to do so via the web at worldofboating.com.